you're going out on.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Grind Fantasy official live stream for this 5-game slate. Cannot wait to break it down. Yes, I am back after a one-day absence. Thank you so much for everybody praying and thinking about me. I still do have COVID, but guys, Michael Jordan did not turn over and just give up. Flu game, 1997 against Utah Jazz. Shut up. A game winner and everything. 38 points, guys. That's what I'm coming to do today. I'm hyping up the stream.
You look that up?
No, I looked up his stat line. I didn't look up the flu game.
Okay.
38 points. Was it? Yeah. Okay.
That's fair.
So, Super Draft, guys. We are now an affiliate of Super Draft. Link below is in the description. TJ, 50% match bonus up to $1,000. So that means you can get up to $500 if you deposit $1,000 and free money that you can use for the Super Bowl contests. There's a huge contest, 200K the first, one of their biggest contests, guys. Sign up today. Link is in the description. We are super excited about this affiliation. We're going to be putting the pen to the paper tomorrow or today, or tonight or tomorrow, sorry. And then we'll officially have an affiliation with Super Draft. So super excited with that. We have a lot more news coming out in the future. Right now, let's go ahead and dive into the slate. TJ, I don't know where to start. Like, I already looked at the chat and I'm already overwhelmed.
As good as mine.
Yeah.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I guess I'm going to let you
pick a card, any card. Sure. Why don't we go ahead and start in the first game at 7:30 between Utah and Atlanta? I think we start there.
Okay. Well, let's do it then. Okay. So, right now, Atlanta is without Bogdanovich, Dunn, Hunter, and Trae Young. I have the usage sheet right in front of me here. TJ, let's hear your favorite plays from this game.
Yes. So, Matt, with all of those guys, like you talked about, what?
Nothing. Go ahead. I was reading the chat.
Okay. So, trying to find a good sample size to kind of go off of. And if you take off Kriston Bogdanovich, Trae Young, and DeAndre Hunter, we do have somewhat of a sample size and one that I feel confident in. So guys like Capella at 63 minutes aren't really something that I'm trying to hone in on. I'm trying to find those cheaper guys between Reddish, Rondo, Solomon Hill, Kevin Huerter, like what those guys kind of look like with these guys off the floor. We're looking at Capella, Matt. It doesn't really get too much of a usage bump, honestly. He's a 1.36 fantasy point per minute. So he actually gets he's actually not as efficient on the floor with Trae Young out. Some easy bunnies from Trae Young, some easy oops, things like that are obviously not an option with Trae Young being out. Sure. So it kind of does affect Capella a little bit. A guy like John Collins, though, Matt, in a smaller sample size at only 40 minutes, gets a 9.6% usage bump with Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter off the floor, 1.06 fantasy point per minute. So I'm going to like him in more of a tournament role. But in terms of cash, who I like, Cam Reddish is going to be 100% a cash lock for me right now in 66 minutes with Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter off the floor. He gets an 11.4% usage bump. He's a 1.31 fantasy point per minute. I can hear Matt dying in the background. 32.4% usage rate. So again, only 66 minutes. I would peg that for probably 2 games of sample size. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I have Reddish pegged, which I do now at 46.7 DraftKings points. Do I think he's going to get there? No. But do I think that if this game can stay somewhat competitive and Reddish does see north of 30 minutes, that he can get you 30 DraftKings points? Yes, I think that is totally viable. So I do love Cam Reddish tonight in cash. Obviously Rajon Rondo starting for Trae Young at point guard at 3,400, projected at 26-ish minutes. He's a 0.99 fantasy point per minute. So I obviously love Rondo as well. So those are the 2 guys that I'm looking at in terms of cash. But in terms of tournaments, I will have some other interest in guys like Collins, Huerter, maybe Gallinari. The minutes really are, they're not there yet. But for cash, Matt, it's going to be Rondo and Reddish for me.
Yeah, so that's the big question is how many minutes is Rondo going to actually play? Right now, projected 20 minutes, TJ.
Right.
I think that's a bit conservative. $3,400. You got to think he plays more than that, just being Rajon Rondo, and now you're dying. Hopefully you don't get it through the stream. So with Cam Reddish, though, the one thing you have to hone in on when looking at a small sample size, because we have a small sample size for all these guys, is the usage rate. Who's going to garner the most usage out of all these players? John Collins is at the top of the board. Cam Reddish is at the top of the board. And you got to think Clint Capella is going to be right up there as well. Herter is definitely more of a shooter. I don't hate him. I think he's more of a tournament play. But when you look at the three guys, John Collins, Reddish, and Capella, I think any one of those guys are cash viable.
Just got rolled out.
Are you kidding me?
No, I swear to God. Well,
can I go back to sleep?
Yeah, why don't you leave? I'm gonna handle the stream. No, okay. So let's keep going with Atlanta. We'll get there after we touch base on Golden State and Portland.
Yeah, and I definitely think that Rajon Rondo is also cash viable if he does start. Is he officially
starting?
Okay, he's starting.
Yeah, he's a lock at 3,400. Yep.
Yeah, I think even if he plays a minimum of 20 minutes, he's going to hit value.
Yeah, I think him and he's going to be probably the chalkiest guy in the slate now. Him and potentially one of those guys from Golden State or Portland. So I love Rondo and I love Reddish for cash. Those other guys, though, I'm a little bit worried about that spread there, especially shorthanded with no Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter. So, like, I think when you're taking Reddish and Rondo, they have the cheaper price tag, so it's going to be a little easier for them to pay those off. So that's why I'm confident in those two in cash.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. The only thing that I have to look at here is the fact that they're only supposed to score 109 points. We know that the superstar Trae Young is expected, or he is out. So now that these guys are off the court, definitely has blowout potential, like you just said. 8-point spread's the second highest on the entire slate. So let's bounce around here. We have plenty of teams to cover before we go to cover the Philly news that we just got. Let's go to Golden State because they're next on the list. Let's just talk about them and their lack of big men tonight. Looney, Pascal, and Wiseman are all out. So who the heck are they going to go to down low? Really, there's only two guys that they can go to. It's going to be Draymond Green and Toscano Anderson. Right now, they're projected at 29 and 35 minutes. TJ, the big question is, which one of these guys do we prioritize and cash over the Atlanta guys? Who do you think?
So, in terms of Golden State, now we didn't really have too much of a sample size when we had Pascal, Wiseman, and Looney off the floor, Matt. And unfortunately, we can't go back to last year too, because then you got like KD in the mix, what have you. So, what I had to do is I kept Looney on the floor because I figured his usage rate is the lowest between the three out tonight between Looney, Pascal, and Wiseman. So I just took off Pascal and I just took off Wiseman. And when I'm looking at it, obviously they're starting Draymond at the 5 and then JTA is going to start at the 4. So yes, their lack of bigs is going to be an issue tonight. So in terms of tournaments, like I love the Dallas bigs because I think they can easily handle, what Golden State has to offer tonight, like Kleber as a tournament play, but we'll get there. So when we're looking at just those two guys off the floor, Matt, between Pascal and Wiseman, Steph Curry he gets a 3.3% usage bump. He's a 1.56 fantasy point per minute. So I really don't hate him at 9,800 tonight. I think it's going to be easy to pay up for some studs, whether you want to go to Luka, whether you want to go to Steph, maybe Embiid now with Simmons out. I think there's a lot of good possibilities, but I do like this. I do like the spot that Curry's in. So I don't hate him. A guy like Wiggins gets a 2.6% usage bump. He's actually a 1.09 fantasy point per minute with both Pascal and Wiseman off the floor. 25.8% usage rate, second highest on the team. So I would have Wiggins pegged at 40.26 DraftKings points. Maybe some more rebounding from a guy like Andrew Wiggins tonight with the absence of the big men. So that's definitely a possibility because he does have some size compared to the other guys that are, remaining on Golden State. I'm looking at a guy like Draymond Green, obviously at 5,200, currently projected at 36 minutes. Gets a slight usage bump. Only a 0.83 fantasy point per minute, but he's going to log minutes at the 5. He's going to rebound. He's going to do everything that he possibly can down low against guys like Porzingis and Kleber. I do get worried that he could potentially get into some foul trouble tonight trying to bang down low, Matt, but even still at 5,200, playing the minutes that he is going to play, especially at the 5, I do like him. He's going to be a cash priority for me tonight. And then JTA as well at 3,500, Matt, currently projected at 29 minutes, gets a 3.9% usage bump with Pascal and Wiseman off the floor, starting at the 4, going to play as many minutes as he possibly can, 0.85 fantasy point per minute. So those are the two guys that I think I'm prioritizing. It's going to be Draymond and JTA. From there, I do like Wiggins, but probably going to be more of a tournament play. I don't think his ownership's going to creep up that much. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with Steph, if I want to play him in cash or if he's going to be more of a tournament play, because I do have interest in guys like Luka. I do have interest in Jokic. So that's yet to be seen. But in terms of cash, yeah, it's going to be Draymond and it's going to be JTA.
We just got a major ownership update, TJ, and you'll be very surprised to hear that these guys are all carrying higher ownership than the guys in Atlanta right now. Rajon Rondo is actually carrying 15.5% ownership, and he's the highest on this team. Kevin Huerter's next, 12.3%, and then it just goes down from there. Reddish is not high owned at all, 8.3% ownership. Now, that was an update before the Philly news. However, I can kind of get behind this because the Vegas line did drop 2 additional points. 107, it's a very big spread and a very bad matchup. So I think we can both agree here. These guys are definitely great in GPP. Not necessarily Atlanta. Cash lock. Yeah.
Okay. I still think Rondo, but if you want to go off a guy like
I was about to say Rondo's probably the only guy.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that. I'm just all hot and bothered about playing Cam Reddish tonight because he's my jock market play of the night.
Yeah.
I think
I completely agree with you. I think he's a great play. But looking back at this,
not a cash priority.
Right. Looking back at this matchup, though, between Dallas is only favored by 4 points, and it's a 229 over-under. So expected to be more points scored in this matchup just overall. Steph Curry, like you said, is actually carrying very high ownership. Now, 25.7% ownership, the highest on the team, TJ. Draymond Green, 24.5% ownership. We knew he was going to be high owned. And then JTA is down there at 19.8% ownership, so he's teetering on the line. I think he's a cash lock. I think the ownership has yet to adjust, obviously, with the new Philly news. So we will see these guys bump up or bump down a little bit in ownership. Andrew Wiggins, 22.3%. So everything that you just said about him, possibly getting some more opportunities at rebounds and stuff like that, it seems like everybody agrees with you. Kelly Oubre, I think, is a fantastic option as well. We see him get a usage bump, 18.3% ownership right now, a 5.9 point per dollar value. So I like all of these guys, and I like them more so because of the matchup here versus Dallas.
Yeah, only a 9-man rotation. So, a lot of those guys are going to lock some minutes. And if they can stay competitive, Matt, then I would 100% prioritize Golden State over Atlanta.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to go to Philly now, or do you want to go over to Houston?
I'm working on it. I'm working on Philly right now. If you wanna give me like 30 seconds, I can do it. But
that will give me some time to talk about Super Draft again. For all you guys that are just joining, we are now affiliates with Super Draft. Link is in the description below. Up to $500 in free money. It's a $50 match bonus. So if you deposit up to $1,000, you get $500. I kid you not. I was actually stunned to hear that offer was being thrown to us as well. So Super Draft, if you guys haven't signed up, Super Draft giving away free money at this point. $50 or 50% additional bonus when you sign up using our code in the description. Link, rather.
Matt, that was awesome. Good plug. I think we go to Portland, though, because I want to wait for these minutes to get updated, too. I have all the necessary information with, like, Milton and Maxey, but I just don't know. Like, Milton, I don't know who's going to start for Ben. I would assume Milton. So I can like put him at 28 minutes, and then I can put Maxey at like 20, and we can go from that. But let's go to Portland.
Okay. So while I take off all the guys on Portland's side, I have all your projections uploaded. Right now, Rodney Hood projected at 30 minutes, 30.3% ownership, 3.7K. He's playing 30 minutes and he's 3.7K. That's all you need to know. And against Philly, a very good matchup. Canner playing 33.5 minutes and 28.4% owned. Also, another near cash lock, TJ. Carmelo Anthony, another guy that's going to get a huge boost in usage. Keep in mind, Damian Lillard is out, so all the usage has to go to somebody who can shoot the ball. I think that's going to be Carmelo Anthony. It has to be somebody. Give him or Rodney Hood some more shots. TJ, where are you looking in this matchup? Also, Simons, $4,600 projected in 32 minutes.
Yeah, I do like Simons. So yeah, Matt, I think the guy that I'll probably be going to is going to be Rodney Hood. He gets a 2.9% usage bump with all these guys off the floor. And what I had to do here is I went through the last. Did I do that? Yes, I went over the last 2 seasons because, it was a minimal sample size with Dame, CJ, Nurk, Derek Jones Jr., and Nasir Little off the floor. So I took all those guys off and I looked over the last 2 years. And really the guys I was trying to get information on are guys like Anthony Simons, Gary Trent, Melo, Rodney Hood. Canner, obviously the new addition this year. So it's tough to have sample size on him along with Covington. So those are the 4 guys that I was really trying to hone in on. Canner in 30 minutes, Matt, looks really good. But again, that's 24 minute sample size. So I'm not going to take too much of that, especially going up against a guy like Embiid. So yeah, Rodney Hood's going to be my favorite play here at 3,700, projected at 32 minutes. Again, like I said, 2.9% usage bump with all these guys off the floor over the last 2 years, 0.71 fantasy point per minute. So nothing crazy, but I do have him pegged at 24 DraftKings points. Again, very cheap salary, 33 minutes. they only have 9 guys in the rotation tonight that are 9 guys that are available to play. Don't like the matchup, obviously, against Philly. Got a little bit better now that Simmons is out, but even still, I mean, only 9 guys. These guys are going to play minutes, especially the starters. Like, they're going to have to play 30 minutes regardless of the situation and the outcome of this game. So that's why I'm not afraid to go to a guy like Rodney Hood. Anthony Simons, like you talked about, Matt, at 4,600. I even pegged at 30 minutes. You had 32, you said?
32, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to put
now,
31.
He's not
he
in the
gets
starting lineup, so that might
change.
that's
okay. Yeah, okay, but still, okay, so we'll put him at 28 then. We'll put him at 28. I mean, they're still got to play minutes. In a 199-minute sample size over the last 2 years, Matt, he gets a 6.7% usage bump. He's a 0.87 fantasy point per minute, 27.5% usage rate, which is actually the highest on the team over the last 2 years with Dame, McCollum, Nurkic, Derek Jones Jr., and Nasir Little off the floor. So I do like Simons if you are looking there. And again, you talked about Melo, Matt. He's got a 24.3% usage rate, which is second highest in the team. He's going to be the guy that probably takes the most shots. Him or Gary Trent just chucking up threes. I don't think I can go to Gary Trent at 6,200.
No, it's a little much.
Even playing those minutes, like it's a guy that's so dependent on hitting threes. And yeah, he shot the ball really well. But like, I just don't know if I want to get there at 6,200 in cash. If you want to go tournament, sure, he does get a 5.2% usage bump and 150-minute sample size. Only a 0.85 fantasy point per minute. Obviously been playing better over the last week and a half since CJ's been out.
So we just got word that Simons is now limited to 20 minutes.
Okay, yeah, because he had the hamstring. So I would avoid him. I'm not going to play him then. Yeah. Simple as that. I'd go to Rodney Hood. I'd go to Melo. Those would be my 2 favorite plays, especially if he is limited. So thank you for that update. Means? Yeah, I forgot he had the gimpy hamstring or whatever.
Yeah, that means these guards are going to play upward of 35 plus minutes. So there's a lot of minutes.
Gary Trent, honest to God, Matt, if this game stays somewhat competitive, might play like 42 minutes.
Yeah, he played 40 last game, so I believe it.
So maybe take a chance on a guy like CJ Ellaby as a tournament play. I wouldn't go there in cash, but
yeah, you'll get a slight bump in minutes too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I think your safe cash locks, TJ, are going to be Rodney Hood right now. I think Kanter is a viable option, playing 34 minutes because of all the usage that's going to go to them. And same thing with Melo. Now, Simons is not a cash option anymore. Definitely more of a GPP option if you still want to take stabs at him. But Melo, definitely going to be a cash option. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think Melo's a cash option. Yep, I agree with you.
Nightbot is over here yelling at people. I do apologize.
Nightbot, take it easy on the people.
Do you want to move on to the Philly game, or the Philly team, rather?
Yes, I do, and I want to buy Shake Shack in Jock Market. I'm absolutely obsessed with Jock Market right now. I'm obsessed with it.
It is fun.
Let's see here. We don't have the minutes. Do you have the minutes updated, Matt? Because Roto's slow.
I think so.
And can't wait till we don't have to deal with this.
So hold on one second. Let me update one more time.
Hit me, Matt.
I don't know if they're accurate. No, they're not accurate.
What do you have Milton at?
Milton's 20. No, it's not up.
Okay, it's not accurate. So I mean, I have minutes that I think could potentially be accurate if we want to just roll with that.
Okay, let's go ahead and hear him.
Okay. So with Simmons off the floor, guys, and Mike Scott obviously has been out. Embiid gets a 3.6% usage bump. He's a 1.75 fantasy point per minute. So I kind of like Embiid tonight for cash if you're going there. I am actually, you know what? Scratch that. I don't know how I'm going to prioritize these studs yet between Steph, Embiid, and Luka, and Jokic too. I do get afraid that this could obviously blow out with the depleted Portland roster. So I'm not going to sit here and say that Embiid is going to be a cash lock at all, but I do like him in this type of matchup, especially going up against Kanter, who is very good offensively, but not very good defensively. So this is a fantastic matchup for Embiid. So I do like him at 10-2. He's going to be a tournament play for me as of now. I want to see how this ownership shakes up with Ben Simmons being ruled out. A guy like Tobias Harris also gets a usage bump of 3.4%. He's a 1.18 fantasy point per minute. So I do like Tobias Harris. I have him pegged for 44 DraftKings points, Matt. He's projected at 34 minutes. I put him up to 36. Seth Curry at 30 minutes, tournament play. Danny Green, tournament play. A couple shooters that can get hot. But a guy like Shake Milton, Matt, at 3,800, I would assume he gets thrusted into this starting lineup and starts at the point guard position. It's going to be him
28 to 30.
Yeah, I have him pegged for 28. It's going to be him or Maxey that gets the start. Even if Maxey does start, I think Milton can come off the bench and play 26 minutes. And at 3,800, I do think he's going to be viable for me. I have him at 28 right now. I think that's a safe floor. 3.3% usage bump with Simmons and Mike Scott off the floor, 0.97 fantasy point per minute, 27.5% usage rate, actually second highest on the team just behind Embiid because Tobias carries a 27.3%, so he's just edges him out. I have him pegged for 28 DraftKings points if he does play 28 minutes. And then Tyrese Maxey as well at 3,200, Matt, 2.5% usage bump, 1 point fantasy point per minute. Yes, 1 on the dot, 24.8% usage rate. So I do like Maxey and Milton as cheap plays, Matt. I think those ownerships are going to creep up here a little bit because I think if this game blows out, these guys are still going to play minutes, especially Maxey. So I think there's a lot of good options here with Ben Simmons now being ruled out.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the nights, TJ, we're going to trust our sheets. Definitely
100%.
like Shake Milton, like you just said, projected about 28 minutes. I think the big question mark is going to be who's going to start for this team. Probably is going to be Milton. If he does start, like you just said, 28 minutes, 7.1 point per dollar value right now. I really do like him for cash. Joel Embiid, I think, will go up in ownership. I don't think he's going to be your cash lock, though, TJ. I think he's going to be more of a GPP option just because, you know, centers are always lower owned, unless it's an obvious bottom of the barrel price tag. But Joel Embiid being 10.2, definitely not going to be an obvious quote-unquote choice. I think Steph Curry just eating a ton of the usage is going to be a lot more quote-unquote obvious. Tobias Harris, like you just said, $7,200 is still cheap. Like him here, 41.3 projected points is what I have him at right now, a 5.7 point per dollar value. But if you had to lock in a cash option, TJ, are you locking in Shake Milton from this team?
Yeah, that'd be my guy.
All right. Anybody else? You're not locking in Joel Embiid?
I don't think so.
Okay.
All right, now.
All right, let me go ahead and refresh and see what kind of ownership updates we get for all of you guys. Right now, they are not updated. Let's go ahead and move on, TJ, to Houston.
I just bought 10 shares of Shake Milton.
Okay.
So Matt, he actually got, I'm just blowing through the money I deposited tonight. Blowing through it. I'm just crushing it over here. Yeah, let's keep going. Lot going on, guys. So, a lot going on. Let's keep going, Matt. What else do we have? I kind of want to talk about this. Okay, sure.
Because I just want to talk about John Wall. John Wall, yes. Cash play. Yeah. That's it.
John Wall, yes. Cash play. Yep.
Okay.
That's I don't hate Eric Gordon, honestly, either.
Yeah. But for cash.
Both those guys. Yeah. With Oladipo and obviously Harden, who's gone off the floor. Wall gets a 2.7% usage bump. Eric Gordon gets a 3.4% usage bump. John Wall at a 1.33 fantasy point per minute. Eric Gordon at a 1.09 fantasy point per minute. I have Wall pegged at 42.34 DraftKings points, and I have Eric Gordon pegged at 36.1. Fantastic matchup, too, against the Memphis guards. So I do like both of those guys. John Wall would be my preferred play in cash, but I don't hate Eric Gordon either. Probably going to be more of a tournament play. I don't think he would make my one line. Christian Wood, I also have some interest in tournaments. Especially going up against those Memphis bigs. So yeah, I do have some interest here. It's going to be those 3 studs or the two and a half studs with Christian Wood and John Wall, and then Eric Gordon.
Perfect timing. Just had the call. Yeah, no, John Wall is going to be an obvious cash option. We made him the thumbnail. I think without Oladipo, he's an obvious option. He has to play. Right now, he's only projected at 29, but I think he has to play closer to 30, 32, just because of Oladipo being out. And if this game does stay competitive, which it is expected to, expect John Wall to be playing his full allotted minutes. Christian Wood will definitely fly under the radar now, especially with Joel Embiid. Is his ownership going up? We know how Christian Wood is with all the ownership going to him. Just an absolute smash spot for him and a favorable matchup versus Memphis Grizzlies. I do like him here with a depleted front court. 30.5 projected points right now and a 5.5 point per dollar value. Same thing with Eric Gordon. Also a good play. Are we talking about anybody else with current injuries? Memphis, right? Do you want to go down with him?
Yeah, I mean, Memphis is going to fall by the wayside, so they're going to be more tournament plays for me. A guy like Gorgie Zhang, I don't hate at 4,100, but with the minutes, I won't go there in cash. Kyle Anderson looks decent on the sheet too, Matt. He's a 1.4% usage bump with all these guys off the floor that are dealing with COVID. 1.08 fantasy point per minute, so I don't hate going there. But again, these guys are not going to carry too high ownership, especially after all the news that we got. So they're going to be a tournament.
Definitely tournament plays for sure.
Yep.
All right. Let's bring it all together. We have all the updates except for the minutes, right? What?
Denver. I want to talk about Denver quick because Gary Harris is out and so is Dozier.
Okay, let's go ahead and hear it then. So right now we have Jokic, the highest value, or near highest value on our sheet. Monte Morris, 80.3% ownership, a 6.2 point per dollar value. You have him pegged here for 26.2 DraftKings points. Are you going to be playing them in cash?
No. Okay. No, but I do think these guys are viable in tournaments. I talked about Jokic as a potential spend up at 11K, man. I think they're going to rely heavily on him playing against the Lakers. You know, it's obviously a tough matchup. I think this is the lowest over-under that we do have on the slate. Yes, it is. So yeah, I like this for tournaments in terms of Denver with Gary Harris being off the floor. It's not that Gary Harris is a high usage rate guy, but a lot of minutes to be dispersed throughout the team. Guys like Monty Morris at 4,200 now playing 30 minutes. So again, he's the highest value that we have. Campazzo again too at 3,500. I don't hate him as a punt tournament play. 3.8% usage bump with Gary Harris and PJ Dozier off the floor. 1.03 fantasy point per minute. So him and Monty Morris are two guys I like for tournaments. And then Jokic, again, I have him pegged for 63 DraftKings points, so I do like him as a tournament.
Awesome. Yeah, I completely agree with you. This is a bad matchup for Denver, but this is going to be the most intriguing matchup, I think, on the entire slate. I'm going to actually watch this one. Going to be a good battle between Jokic and AD down low. Let's bring it all together, TJ. So right now, the only thing we don't know are the minutes and who's starting for Philly, although we do expect it to be Milton. He does have that hyperextended knee. He is probable, so that could slide him back into the bench role, but that's the only thing that we have pending right now. Okay, after all this madness, who are you prioritizing in cash? If we had to make a cash core right now, I think we're... Yeah, would you want to jump that far? Or do you want to talk about GPPs? I feel like we already covered GPPs.
We can. Hold on. We just got the minutes for Philly. So they have Milton at 29 and they have Maxey at 25. So I honestly, guys.
Yeah, I like both of them too.
I do want to see who starts between the two. Again, if Milton's fully healthy and ready to go, I think he will. But if not, they will go to Maxey.
Yeah, and they're going to update the ownerships on those guys right now, or they should be here pretty soon. I do expect Milton to jump up in ownership. Right now, he's only showing 4.8, which is obviously not correct. Let me see if they updated the minutes here.
I'm actually seeing if
Tobias Harris projected to play 36, and Embiid 35. That's actually substantial. Seth Curry, TJ, jumped up to 31. That's actually very intriguing.
31 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't really pop on the sheet, to be honest with you, Matt. I would like him as a tournament play, but I wouldn't go there in cash. I think the cash guys that are going to come out of here probably go to Embiid, and I think a lot of interest will go to Milton and honestly Tyrese Maxey. Because if this game blows out, Maxey's going to be a guy that plays all the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for tournament plays at 3,200, like if you don't feel confident playing Maxey in cash, sure, I understand that if you want to go to Milton. But like Milton being a little gimpy, if this game's a 25-point blowout in the fourth, like you could easily see Tyrese Maxey play the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter and him just go absolutely bananas. So keep an eye on Maxey because I do think Milton starts if he's fully healthy. So Matt, if I had to give cash plays, I think right now where I would go is I'm taking Rondo. By the way. All right, I'm taking Rondo at 3,400. I still do like him starting at the point guard for Trae Young. I don't like the matchup, but there's no way that I think he doesn't get you 20 DraftKings points at his price tag and the minutes that he should see. I think you're going between one of Luka and Steph. I'm having a hard time trying to figure out which direction I want to go with that right now. So I'm going to go back. We're going to get back. Okay. We'll go back to that by the end of the stream. I think I'll have my mind made up. John Wall, Draymond, Rodney Hood.
Guys, look at the screen. You saw that, right? Yeah, I completely agree with you, TJ. I locked in my guys before you said anything.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. You can go back and watch if you don't believe me. Yeah, Rajon Rondo, John Wall, Rodney Hood, and Draymond Green. I think with Draymond Green just $5,200, TJ, and we expect him to play the entire game. Yep. And like you said, if he does stay out of the foul trouble, should easily smash value. Should easily be a ceiling game for him. And like you said, Steph Curry or Doncic, I'm probably going to lean Doncic, TJ, especially if I already have exposure to Golden State. Because if you have exposure to Golden State, that means you think it's going to be competitive. Well, guess what? If it's going to be competitive, Doncic, ceiling game. Same thing with Steph, you can say. But Doncic, we know he's a lot more reliable of a player, TJ, just because he doesn't rely on the shooting as much. And they both rely on their shooting, but heavy usage guy in Doncic. So I think I'm personally going to prefer Doncic, but I could easily see you going to Steph Curry, possibly get both of them in your lineup, especially if you're going a stutter dud type lineup. Might get Shake Milton in there, and then also Maxey.
Maxey in there, Reddish maybe. Yeah, dude, I think that's what I'm going to do, Matt.
There you go.
I think you just made up my mind.
There you go. And then also load up on those guys in Jock Market, right? All right.
That's what I'm staring at right now, guys. Guys, I'm obsessed with Jock Market.
Yeah, we're definitely going to come out with some more content for Jock Market
tomorrow,
for anybody
100%.
That is confused. Yeah, tomorrow. For sure. We almost have 300 viewers in here, but 27 likes on the video, guys. If you guys could please show us some support, hit that like button, get us to the top of the search results. It really helps the brand, helps us grow a lot faster when we're at the top of the search results, because that's where you guys see us, right? So please hit that subscription button. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. I know 54% of you guys that watch our videos aren't subscribed. That's crazy. So if you guys could please show us some support. Yeah, 54%.
That's mean.
Yeah, but okay. You know what? We're still below the average, or we're above the average in terms of that.
Yeah,
so
we roll.
We do roll.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to some questions, TJ. I think that's safe to do right now.
Do you want to talk about some tournament plays quick?
I think we did, but yeah,
Okay.
we can talk about some tournament plays for sure. Okay, good.
No, go ahead. You go.
A person that won't carry any ownership, and really anybody that won't carry any ownership, is here from the LA game, specifically from the Lakers, LeBron or AD. If you guys want to pay down to them, because technically you will be if you're paying down from Doncic. Going down to LeBron, if it does stay competitive, he should do very well. He should play a full allotted time of minutes, guys. 36 projected minutes is what he's at right now. Same thing with AD in a favorable matchup, or not so favorable matchup, sorry. LeBron James is going to be in the favorable matchup. So I do like LeBron James. AD and Jokic should be banging down low. Do like them for both tournament plays. Anybody from Memphis, I really do like. Already talked about TJ. Kyle Anderson's going to probably be one of my favorite plays. He's secretly so efficient, averaging over a fantasy point per minute, projected at 27, but he does play over 30 minutes occasionally, and a very good matchup against Houston. Going over to Portland, some of these guys are going to go very, very under the radar, including Gary Trent. Right now, he's projected to start at the point guard position. If he's actually starting at point guard, his usage could go up. We don't know. So it could open up some more opportunities for assist numbers. Right now, we have him at the 5.8 point per dollar price or value. Carmelo Anthony should be more on the chalk side. Rodney Hood should be more chalky. But if you keep looking down the list, Robert Covington should definitely fly under the radar as well. And then Simons is going to be out of the mix here, only playing 20 minutes. Those are probably my favorite GPP options. One guy we haven't talked about, TJ, who's in a great matchup as well. Rudy Gobert, $7,500 in a pace-up spot. 116 or total points is what they're projected to score. Donovan Mitchell, also $7,800, is flying under the radar. Some superstars to target in on. Utah is always flying under the radar, so I like those guys for GPP options as well.
Awesome, Matt. Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on a couple that I like. So in terms of Dallas, I'm going to have some interest in the bigs. Guys like Porzingis at 7,700, showing a little bit of ownership here, Matt. Willie Cauley-Stein potentially. A huge dart throw there with Willie Cauley-Stein. Not somebody I'm confident in tournaments, but if he can get in there at 4,100 and maybe play 20-ish minutes, which I don't think, forget it. I'm not even going to talk about Willie Cauley-Stein.
I was about to say, you're about to get roasted.
Yeah, forget it. I'm not even going to bring him up. I didn't mention Willie Cauley-Stein because he's not going to play minutes. So Porzingis, Dorian Finney-Smith, and then Maxi Kleber are three guys that I do like for tournaments, especially going up against the depleted front court of Golden State, who's starting Draymond and JTA at the 5 and the 4. So I do like the bigs there. You talked about the Lakers. I agree with you there. Memphis as well. Yeah, some of those guys are carrying some really low ownership. I like a guy like Gorgie Zhang as a punt play. Kyle Anderson, like you talked about, 5,500. I think that's really cheap. I'm interested to see the ownership on Tyrese Maxey to see if he does pop up. If he doesn't, I'm going to really like him in tournaments because if this game does blow out, I think he could play some crazy minutes. That's about it, Matt. You talked about Gobert, who I do love at 7,800, especially going up against Atlanta. And then Denver, I talked about Campazzo being a good punt tournament play at 3,500, and then Monty Morris at 4,200 as well. There
are a couple guys we talked about at the beginning of the stream was Cam. Okay, I'm all over the place, guys. Sorry. Whoa, listen, hey, I have COVID. I can make that as an excuse. Cam Reddish went down in ownership is what I was trying to say here.
What?
17.8% ownership. So he's now a GPP play and a very good one. JTA. 16.4% ownership. So two guys we loved at the beginning of the stream. Once injuries started coming out, their ownership's pushed down. I still love them, TJ. I think they're also cash viable.
Okay.
I don't know if you agree with that.
You know what, Matt? You know what stinks?
What's that?
That we kind of didn't. Well, I mean, okay. Luka, point guard. Rondo, point guard. John Wall, point guard. Steph, point guard. Like, right there. You got to make hard stances.
A lot of point guard.
Got to make hard stances
for sure. That's why I also think that Doncic is going to be higher on TJ because never mind, I scratch that. I take that back. I take that back. Guys, I have COVID. Just my brain's in the fryer right now.
It is. We'll give you a pass for tonight.
Do you want to know what I was about to get at? I thought Doncic was still small forward eligible, so that's what I was trying to get at there. Okay. Yeah, he's not.
Okay. It's you're all.
Yeah. I'm a day behind. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to questions. I'm going to go ahead over there now.
I'm done. I just found the best lineup in the world.
With no Ben Simmons, is it time for Shake Shack and
yes, shit, I forgot.
Shake Shack, Shaq Milton. He said that twice. Yes, it is. Simon's on the minute limit. Yes. Matt, I haven't reserved any contests yet. Knowing what you know, is it a good GPP or cash day? It's a good GPP or cash day is not dependent on whether there's a lot of injuries or slate size or anything. Every day is good for both cash and GPP. That being said, we have a lot of good GPP plays out tonight. Kanter averages 1.3 fantasy point per minute when going against Embiid. That's a good stat. Like that. Just looking into the slate now, but saw the injury notice on my phone. Should up late, so would love to hear a few favorite plays for both. I believe, you got in here at 6:30. Yeah, you definitely heard all of our favorite plays. Favorite 2-point guards only plays for cash: Rondo, Luka, Wall, Curry. There you go, TJ. You got the question, and you already addressed it.
It's gonna be tough to try and pick between those two. I think I'd go Rondo and Luka. As of now, or I'd go Rondo and Wall. I think Steph's going to be my odd man out there, unfortunately. I think it's between those three, between Luka, Rondo, and Wall.
I completely agree with everything you just said. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm glad we're agreeing a lot. Maybe that's a bad thing since you're agreeing with my fried brain. Yeah.
I hate agreeing with you. Yeah, it means I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Fried brain, scrambled brain.
Rondo, Maxey, Hood, Green, Embiid, Luka, Toscano, Anderson, Steph. Uh-oh.
What's wrong?
That might be your lineup.
No, it's not my lineup.
Oh, it's not. That's a very good lineup. I like that.
I'm probably going to play a lot of tournaments tonight.
Are you? Of course you are.
Yeah, because by the way, I mean, it's tough, dude. It's a tough. If you're a one line guy like more often than not on nights, I do really play one line. I do some tournaments on the back end that I don't really share with you guys because Matt and I are always tinkering and trying to come up with new ways to find an edge. But tonight, man, like, I want exposure to Luka, Rondo, Wall, and Steph, and that's just not viably possible. Like, I want Cam Reddish and Shake Shack, and, like, you can't do that, and Tyrese Maxey, and my brain is just broken. Kanter, Embiid, Porzingis, Gobert. Like, yeah, I think I'm going to play tournaments tonight, but I'll still do a one line because I'm a junkie.
You almost took down the GPP last night, right? And it was a small one?
I did. I would have if
Jaylen
Brown was just gone in the fourth quarter. He didn't do anything. What?
For all 300 guys of you watching, by the way, if you could please show some support and hit that like button. TJ, could you go over the importance, because I've never heard you say this, of entering small GPPs?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. You know how when I first started playing, Matt,
I know.
However many years ago it was, I would always enter contests where it would be M150s and there'd be like 60,000 people in there. You'd always just be like, all right, have fun pissing away that money. I really only play single entries now in small entry GPPs, and it's been huge for me over the last 2 years in terms of my ROI. So it's contest selection in any sport, or not any sport, in any platform you play, whether it's FanDuel or DraftKings, is huge. So I love smaller single entry GPPs, especially where if I'm playing like anywhere from $100 to $300 on a single entry, I want as less people in that contest as possible, especially with the leverage that Matt and I can come up with on any given night. So contest selection is huge. It's something that Matt and I preach, and it's something that I look for every single night before I enter a contest. Matt, I don't really enter contests until there's like 30 minutes before
another good point.
So like I just entered a contest now with 83 people in it, and I'm telling you right now, I just withdrew my entry because I'm going to continue to wait. I'll wait till about 7:05. That's when I'll start and pick and choose my contest, and that's what works for me.
Well, TJ, how small are you talking? Because some people think small means 1,000. Like, how big was that contest that you entered? Was $180 entry? I want you to talk specifically about that contest.
Yep. So that 181 that I entered, Matt, it was 16 people in the top 4 place. So it was 25% were in the money. So yeah, there was only 16 people in there, but those are the ones that I feel really confident in, especially if I'm doing a one line. If I'm playing a lot of lines, obviously, then yeah, you can enter those bigger contests, but that's only if you can max out those big contests. So like tonight, for example, Matt, the biggest contest on DraftKings that they have for NBA is going to be the M150. The M150, it's the 100K to first. Like, yeah, that looks glorious, and everybody wants to win that. Believe me, I want to, Matt wants to. The only way I'm ever entering that is if I can get probably a minimum of 120 lineups in there. I would feel confident doing that, but that's not something I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to do these small single entry GPPs, anything less than probably like 30-ish people if I'm entering anything more than $100. But if I'm doing like a $12 or a 27 or a 33, I'll do anything less than 100 people.
Yeah.
If it's anything more than that, guys, like it kind of turns me off a little bit unless I'm entering multiple lines.
Couldn't have said it any better. You also got to consider, like, if you're entering 150 lineups and you're paying for each one of those entries and you win that tournament, sometimes the ROI is like 10 times, TJ, and you can find tournaments that are lower than 100 people where the ROI is even greater than 10 times, which is crazy.
Exactly.
So, you know, if you guys are picking the wrong contest, you're not going to be successful in DFS, period. Anyway, sorry for the rant. We just have to get that out because so many people I see are entering huge contests and they're not winning and then complaining about it. Well, hey, enter the right contest. All right, let's go ahead and go to questions. We have about 10 more minutes, then we'll go ahead and get off. Probably about 5 to 10 more minutes. Tobias Harris, Gobert, Collins, or Cantor for last piece cash? So straight up, that's actually a very good question. Tobias Harris, Gobert, Collins, or Cantor for last piece in cash?
I hate that I'm going to say this, but I'd probably say Cantor.
I'd say Cantor too. So I hate the fact I'm agreeing with you. 172 single entry tournament. Wall, Maxey, Hood, Green, LBJ, Anderson, Rondo, Doncic. So the one different guy is LeBron. I actually like that. I do like that lineup. I like that Colts. Cash, Rondo, Milton, Hood, Draymond, Jokic, Wall, Melo, Luka. I think it's a very popular one. I've already seen that one. That's going to be a good lineup. Jokic is the only guy that's going to be relatively low owned, but he's in a great spot in a competitive matchup. DFS or Danny Green? So Finney Smith. Finney Smith is $3,900. TJ, we didn't even talk about him.
I go Finney Smith.
Okay, I agree. I hate that.
I talked about him as a tournament play. I like the bigs tonight against Golden State.
Yeah,
Matt, I have a weird feeling that Maxey's.
I'm sorry, you cut out. What'd you say?
I have a weird feeling that Tyrese Maxey's.
Why are you cutting out whenever you say Maxey's name?
Trash.
Okay. Yeah, you have a weird feeling that he's going to start, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. We just got a donation. Sorry, Green Wizard. Getting your guys' attention is tough. I do apologize. We have so many questions. Help with the first Super Draft lineup. Where to start? Where to start, I'm assuming is what you mean. Is it like GPP? Please, thanks. So they have GPP like contests. So let me explain Super Draft real quick. So Super Draft.
Dunks.
Huh? Dunks.
Yeah. Dunks.
Sorry. Super Draft. No salary on any one of your players. However, each player has some kind of multiplier. So you add in your projections based on our projections that we provide on Patreon. We're able to give you very accurate projections on each one of those players, and you can construct the lineup just using our projections, which is the glorious thing about it. It's an easy translation over those Super Drafts. But we don't know the exact multipliers for tonight's slate. I haven't done any research, so I can't give you that exact our exact plays that we like. I can assume that Rajon Rondo's in a very good spot. John Wall and Rodney Hood, Draymond Green. It's very similar to the exact ownership here on Fantasy Cruncher for DraftKings. So I would look at those guys and start your builds around them. They probably have higher multipliers. Yeah.
I'm going to try and bang through some of these questions. Okay?
Go for it. I have no more questions anymore.
All right. Fading Simons with the news. Yes, 100%. Gary Trent is a lock. Point guard, assist rate going through. Right, Joseph. I can get behind that, but I don't know if I'm going to get there in cash. Harry Giles making a GPP takedown lineup tonight. Brian, I kind of like Harry Giles. DSJ, thank you for that info. Thoughts on Embiid? Yeah, Grant, we talked about Embiid with Simmons off the floor. I do like him if you are landing there. Embiid or the Joker? I think I'd go Embiid now.
I go Embiid as well. That sucks, man.
Yeah. Luka or Jokic? I go Luka. Rondo, Reddish, Hood, Porzingis, Embiid, Shake Shack, Green, and Jokic. If that's JaMychal Green or Danny Green, I'd rather it be JaMychal, honestly. But I don't. If it's tournaments, okay, I'm behind that. Please, Draymond, do not get ejected tonight. Justin, that could easily happen. Milton over Rondo. No. I go Rondo. Milton's gimpy, man. Milton's gimpy.
That's one thing I disagree with. I think it's a toss-up. Milton's now the highest owned, by the way, on the slate.
Is he really?
He is.
So it is my brain. My brain is so good. He's starting, guys.
Yeah.
Max, he's not starting.
He's also projected at 29 minutes now. So
okay, yeah. So if as long as I see that Milton is starting, I'm on him 100%.
Yeah.
But you know what? Milton over Rondo, I'd get both because Milton has shooting guard eligibility. Let's see here. What else do we have? Trying to get some questions.
I think the build just became very straightforward, by the way.
Rondo, said Tommy. Yes, I like Rondo. Covington revenge versus Philly could happen, Young, but I'm not too high on Covington tonight. Tournament play for me.
Yep.
Sleeper going forward, Colin Sexton. Okay. LeBron or Steph for DK? I think we could both agree, Matt. Steph. Best small forward cash plays. I would say JTA. I'm pretty sure.
Rodney Hood.
No, Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood would be my guy. Yep. Covington for tournaments. Sure. Yep. 9-man rotation, so it doesn't hurt. Steph and Cash. Okay, just kidding. What about John Collins? I kind of like John Collins tonight.
I do too.
Draymond rebounds, assists, points over 22.5, and Melo over 12.5 points locked. I like both those, J3, so probably fade him. TJ landed on my line. Might see, so no, you wish you had my line. Favorite centers, Matt? I think we talked about that briefly. I think it's going to be Canner
and Embiid.
And Draymond. Draymond has center eligibility as well.
I really do like Christian Wood for GPPs.
Yep, I do too. Gallinari for cash. No, Luke. No Gallinari. The minutes aren't there. Conley or Wiggins? I go Wiggins. I like Wiggins in that spot at the Golden State, having no bigs. Or the 9-man rotation as well. Yeah. Kyle Anderson or Trent Jr. last piece. Trent Jr., I think. Yeah, give me Trent Jr. Yeah. Melo or Draymond? Draymond.
Yep.
Best center play we just talked about. Yeah, he's in the G League. Thank you, Sano. Milton or Hood for tournaments if Milton is starting. I think Rodney Hood. I go Milton. Milton for tournaments.
Appreciate
Bryce
that.
wants to know between
J3. Good.
Rondo or Rodney Hood. I think I go Rondo, dude. I don't know how you don't have both of them in your lineup, honestly. Or that's just me. I think I would have Rondo and Rodney Hood in lineups. Porzingis or Collins? Give me Porzingis.
I just want to reiterate, guys. TJ literally gives you a lineup by answering your questions if you just listen.
Yeah. Do we like Sterling Brown tournament play? Yeah, I do like Sterling
I already
Brown,
know what you're doing.
a little bit there. Rondo or Monty Morris? I would go Rondo, Monty Morris for tournaments. Trent Jr. or Murray? Trent Jr. Covington or Hurt? Give me Kevin Hurt. John Collins, we just talked about. Gallinari for cash. Luke, I did answer that. Porzingis and cash. If you do go there, I honestly don't hate it because Golden State is so depleted. TJ, where are you going at center? I am pending my center position, honestly. I'm deciding if I want to pay up for Embiid or not. If not, I'd probably go down to Cantor. It's probably going to be one of those two guys. Reddish or Milton for tournaments? Give me Reddish, man. Give me Reddish. Yeah, I'm all in on Reddish tonight, unfortunately. Any love for LeBron, Matt?
What? What's that?
Okay. I literally listened to him fill out Linus. Brian.
That's what I was laughing at.
There you go, Brian. I like that.
It's been successful. You must be listening to the wrong things then. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Jokic for cash? I don't think so tonight. I do like him for tournaments, though. Wood or Capella, Matt? I think we both want to say Wood there.
Yeah, I really do like Wood. I think Wood's going to break the slate. If I had to give one person that's going to break the slate open, it's going to be him. He has such a good matchup.
Yeah. All right, Matt. I think we cut it there, guys.
Yeah,
I'm sorry we
sure.
didn't get to more questions. It was really chaotic tonight's
guys,
slate.
Thank you so much for your support and obviously thoughts and prayers. I'm trying to get over COVID. I will be better and I will be back. Okay, so with all that being said, guys, have a great rest of your night. Sign up for Super Draft in the link below and let's cash.
Good luck, guys.